Welcome back to the Hangar, everybody. This is episode 6 of the Hangar podcast with me, Miguel Navarro, and my boy Luke Steinman. How we feeling, Luke?
Feeling great. Feel good. It feels good to be back. Been busy, but we're back.
We're back, and we picked a great time to be back. It's spring training, baseball season. The regular season is right around the corner, and in honor of that, me and Luke, we're gonna start episode 1 of this 6-part series where we're going to be breaking down every single division. And today, Luke, we're going to be doing the NL West. How are we feeling about that?
It's your Dodgers, so I'm sure you're happy.
Oh, yeah. Best.
The four other teams are not happy about this division.
It's going to be fun for me. It's going to be a lot of fun for me to talk about.
A lot of fun for you. I think it'll be an exciting division, a lot of competitive teams. I'm excited to see how this race plays out for second place.
Yeah, so quick refresher of the NL West last year. Colorado Rockies finished in 5th place and last. The Giants were in 4th place. The Arizona Diamondbacks were in 3rd. The San Diego Padres were in 2nd. And the Los Angeles Dodgers won the NL West once again. And we're kind of going to go off that order in order to determine what teams we're going to be talking about. So starting at the bottom, the Colorado Rockies. And Luke, this is going to be a very interesting team to discuss.
Yeah, they really did not do anything this offseason. I mean, I don't even know what this team is, what their direction is, because it's the Rockies, of course.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's really kind of just confusing on their direction. They don't really have a direction. They've been rebuilding for what feels like forever now, and it doesn't feel like there's any progress whatsoever in the rebuild. So, to kind of recap their offseason. And this will be a very quick recap, mind you, because there wasn't a lot of moves to be made. They brought in Jacob Stallings. They brought him back. He was there for a year. They bring him back on a 1-year deal. They bring in Kyle Farmer on a 1-year deal. This move I actually kind of liked. They bring in Thairo Estrada on a 1-year deal.
I like him.
He's had some good moments in San Fran. They bring in Scott Alexander, Dodger legend, on a 1-year deal. And they lost Cal Quantrill and Brandon Rogers in free agency. And like, you hear the name Cal Quantrill, and you're kind of like, oh, it's just Cal Quantrill, and then you realize he was probably one of their best pitchers last year. Not saying much, but, I mean, they couldn't even keep Cal Quantrill in town. What can they do right at the end? Like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I don't think they really offered him, because I think they have some young guys they're going to try and give some leeway to, you know. They're one top prospect. By the way, we're talking about the Rockies and how they're rebuilding, and you expect with a rebuild some top prospects, some top 100 prospects.
Oh, yeah.
They only have one, and it's a pitcher in Chase Dollander. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. He was exciting in his first spring training debut. But, again, you're the Rockies. You're playing at Coors Field. No pitcher's going to do well there. It'll be interesting to see what he's going to do this year, but I don't know.
Can I ask you something, though? I kind of always had this opinion at Coors Field. I mean, we've always kind of knocked the Rockies for their rotation's horrible. I just made a Cal Quantrill joke like 5 seconds ago. But at the end of the day, how much does it really matter if they have great big names? I mean, at the end of the day, they are at Coors. I'm not trying to defend the Rockies for not trying to put together a good rotation, but at the end of the day, like, their stadium is probably one of the most impactful stadiums in all of Major League Baseball. Like, in terms of just the environment, obviously the elevation, balls flying like crazy there. I mean, I understand the Rockies don't even try to win, but it's very hard to win there's a reason they've never won a World Series, right? I mean, there's a reason.
Yeah. But I think even with that in mind, you have to build a team that's meant for that, with like pitchers that are gonna put the ball on the ground, a lot of high like ground ball rates and stuff like that, and be able to hit bombs. But even with that in mind, they still haven't been able to do anything. I don't think they've had an ace ever in their career. I mean, I don't know Rockies baseball history like that.
Kyle Freeland, man. Kyle Freeland.
How could I forget? Also, just I want to go down some ranks for this team for last season. Where they ranked in baseball. With offense, they ranked 18th in average, 23rd in on base percentage, 19th in runs, 15 in home runs, and 25th in stolen bases. Pretty league average. I mean, Coors Field is going to bump you up a little bit. It doesn't matter who you're going to roll out there.
Even being at Coors half the time, they're pretty low in most of these. Like,
yeah, it's not. You got to expect a little bit better. I mean, again, what is their offense? And then we'll start with their pitching. It's pretty much dead last in everything. Bullpen and starting pitching, they're dead last in ERA, WHIP, in hits per 9, 29th for both for home runs per 9, 30th for K per 9, and then 22nd for walks per 9 for starting pitchers, and 26th for the relievers. It's gross. It's not good.
Yeah, that almost made me puke.
Yeah, that's really bad. That's.
But I mean, I couldn't get better. It really can't get worse than that. It really can't get worse than that. And if you're a Rocky fan, for whatever reason you're listening to this show, we're sorry ahead of time. But I think Rocky fans, I think we can kind of get into that. I think Rocky fans know more than anyone that their team is just it's pretty much poverty, man. Like there's not a lot of bright spots on this team, but the bright spots that are there, I mean, there's a couple. Ezekiel Tovar, he was coming into his own. Anyone else that you kind of want to highlight here, Luke?
Brenton Doyle, I want to highlight Brenton Doyle. That dude he really breakout year this past year. I think he's gonna do only better this year. He plays probably the best center field defense, maybe best defense in the MLB. Has the best arm, what's it called, fastest arm,
Right.
I think in major leagues he throws over 100 miles an hour. Has incredible range out there, and then did really well on the bat last year. Let me pull up his stats. What he did last year. 2024, he hit 260, 317, 446 with a 97 WRC plus, 3.7 WAR, 23 bombs. If you're gonna play as well as defense as he does, you don't really need to do much with the bat, and he still did it with 23 bombs. Yeah. And then hitting 260.
And if you look at his numbers from 23 to 24, insane jump. It's a big jump. All his numbers got inflated, and he only played 20 more games. Brenton Doyle. He really came into his own.
Dude, he had a WRC plus last year of 45 of 2020 and 2023. It went from 45 to 97, which is a huge jump, especially with the defense he play. You just need to be at least league average bat, and he has pop in his bat too. So he's
got one of those outfields that when you got a guy like Brenton Doyle covering all that ground, it's pretty to watch. It's good baseball to watch.
I don't know if you've seen many highlights last year of just him just flashing the glove in center, just making highlight plays. Yeah. He's an exciting player to watch. And then of course you also pointed out Ezekiel Tovar. I think he led the league in strikeouts last year. Let's hope he gets that K rate down. But besides that, he's just a fun guy. He's gonna swing a lot, put the ball in play, and he's just a young guy.
I love Ezekiel Tovar because he's such a doubles machine. I remember, obviously being a Dodger fan, I catch a lot of Rocky games, and the guy just hits the gaps. He's got that nice pop. He doesn't have that crazy light tower power from the right side, but he's gonna hit the right center field gap. He's gonna hit the left center field gap. He's gonna play pretty good shortstop, and like you said, big negative in his game is the strikeout rate. But with time, with age, with more at-bats, more years under your belt, stuff like that, it lowers on its own. I'm not too worried about that, especially because he's not doing it. He's not striking out a lot on a good team. He's obviously striking out a lot on a very bad team. And at the end of the day, Ezekiel Tovar is kind of when the other team's making their scouting report, Ezekiel Tovar is at the top of their list. This is a guy they're approaching. So I'm expecting big things out of him.
Yeah, but also to be fair, he struck out last year at a 28% clip, and only walked 3%. That's not a good. His average was 269. His on base percentage was 295. That is not a good difference. You can have your batting average can be the same, similar to your on base percentage when you're hitting nearly 300. It's not. But also to be fair, he had 3.7 WAR. So
plate discipline's a big thing for him to work on. I think that. It's going to be this is the thing about Colorado, man. They have the time to almost just be hey, figure it out, man. Figure it out. You'll be fine. A couple other guys I kind of wanted to just cover about Colorado because we've kind of established they didn't really add much, and they were dead last in pitching last year, and their offense was middle of the pack at best. But there's some other guys that they're high on. They got Michael Toglia over at first base, and they also got Ryan McMahon, obviously being an all-star. And another guy I really enjoy watching play baseball is Nolan Jones. I think those three guys, you put them in a lineup with Tovar and you put them in with Doyle, it doesn't look horrible. It's not ugly looking.
Okay, speaking of Nolan Jones, he had a down year last year, but in 2023 he had a great breakout year with a 3.8 WAR, 137 WRC plus, hitting 297, 20 bombs. That's a great player. Had a down year though last year. 70 WRC plus, -8 WAR, or sorry, not -8, -0.8 WAR. Like, he had a really down year last year. I'm hoping this year him and Brenton Doyle can shine in the outfield, and it'll be an exciting duo out there.
And Nolan Jones, he has the frame, he has the arm, he has the intangibles of a superstar. I think it's kind of the trend with these young Colorado guys. They're just lacking the discipline to be able to put together consistently good years. And I think that we could be talking about this Colorado team, and next year we're looking at, or at the end of the year this year, we could be looking at like, wow, Ezekiel Tovar put together 30 homers, and Nolan Jones had a damn near 30 home run year, and Doyle improved up. Like we could be looking at the bright spots of these guys, and I'm really hoping that they have more bright spots than they did last year, because Colorado has been hitting a brick wall for years, man. It really has felt that way. And, like, they tried it. There was like that time where they made the wild card that one year, and they beat the Cubs in that wild card game, and that was kind of the start of something. Then they shipped all those guys out, and they said, screw it, we'll just pay Chris Bryant a bag. That hasn't worked out. Like, Chris Bryant's been damn near not even on the field half the time for the Rockies. So, like, yeah. I mean, I want to see some improvement this year. I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what we're all expecting. Are we expecting them to compete with any of the other teams in the NL West? No. But just go out, try to have some bright spots, try to have some highlights, try to build up something. Maybe a young guy comes up and breaks out. Like, just something positive that when we do this same thing next year, we're like, okay, it's a little better. It's a little better. Yeah. It's a little better.
Just improvement. Just that we want some improvement with the Colorado Rockies. That's all we want.
Yeah. Colorado, try your best this year. How about this? I'm gonna leave this goal for them. Try not to lose 100 games this year. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if that's attainable, boys. So Colorado, we kind of got over it a little quick because there really wasn't a lot to talk about. A team that there is a lot to talk about, and it's crazy that we can say that even though they were 4th place in the National League West last year. It's the San Francisco Giants, man. They actually had a pretty good offseason. They lost out on Blake Snell. They lost out on Michael Conforto. They lost out on Taylor Rogers and Mark Hanna. Those guys are gone. But they brought in Willie Adames. And they brought in everyone's favorite grandpa, Justin Verlander. They made moves. The San Francisco Giants are a very interesting team. They brought in Buster Posey. And now they're spending money.
Mm-hmm. I honestly love that addition. Buster Posey is one of my favorite catchers of all time. And I believe him as a GM. He's made some good moves. They put money forward. They've been wanting to spend money, and they finally were able to this offseason, acquiring one of the, maybe not top 5 shortstop, such a great position, but like a top 10 shortstop in the game and one of the best. I mean, last year, when I look at his stats, 4.8 WAR. He hit 251, 119 WRC plus, and the big thing, 32 bombs.
Yeah, Willie Adames is a bad man. And something that I think it's a stat that's very undervalued, but I still love to talk about it. Guy drove in 112 runs last year, man. Like, that's a lot of, or like, I know it's like, oh, it's really not, like, it's just luck pretty much because you're in these situations to drive runners in, but to drive in 112, like, you're a real 3-4 hole hitter with those kind of numbers, man.
Yeah, and again, like, oh, you get luck, but also, like, he's hit when people are up on bases. He's hitting them in like that. That should be an important thing. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure I saw a stat. He had the most plate appearances with runners in scoring position. But again, he capitalized on it. There's a lot of players that can go up there and whiff and shit
and blow those chances.
Yeah, and blow those chances. But no, when he gets a chance, he hits runs, and that's basically what the Giants need. They need a run producer in that lineup. They need someone else to match with what they have. Like, they need a centerpiece of that offense, and that's exactly who he's going to do. Projected, Fangraphs projects him hitting in the second hole, number 2. I think that'd be great for them. And also, another player we want to talk about, Jung Ho Lee. I know he was an addition last offseason, but he got hurt. I think it was early in the year, or was it? I don't know if it was even spring training. Like, he didn't play at all last year, and so it's going to be exciting to see him full time in center field out there, seeing what he can fully do, and also just like. Oh, we were talking about with the Rockies, how certain ballparks, how you want to build a team. Like, this is a pitcher's park. You want to play good defense, and they probably had the best defensive left side of the field with Willie Adames and Matt Chapman.
No ball is getting through the hole there.
No ball's getting through. Like, no errors on that side of the field. Like, you feel comfortable as a pitcher like hitting ground balls to this team, especially on that left side of the field.
Yeah, exactly. Like with McCovey Cove and the big outfields, you want to keep the ball on the ground, right? And I think that the Giants they've kind of built their roster around their stadium in a very good way. Like they brought in a very good defensive infield. They got speedsters like Jung-Hoo Lee. The reason he didn't, I'm pretty sure the reason he got hurt, right, was like crashing in or like he got hurt something in the outfield, right?
Yeah, it was something I don't remember.
Something like that. Like guy just runs like a maniac out there. Guy's a maniac. Like he tracks down balls better than anyone. They have a lot of athleticism in the outfield and their offense, honestly, like it's very underrated. Like I really like Wilmer. Like Wilmer's had some good years there. Obviously, he's not like a centerpiece of that offense, but like if you throw him in the 8-9 hole, like you're looking at a pretty solid guy. Elliot Ramos had a really good year last year. Jung-Hoo Lee was hitting really good before his injury. You know, Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, they've done it. Tyler Fitzgerald, the full year of him. What are we expecting there, right? Lamont Wade, Yastrzemski, like they have names. Like you look at that lineup 1 through 9, and there's not really a guy where you're like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if he's major league ready or if he's going to be able to produce decent numbers. Like, I think everyone in their lineup can hold their own and carry their weight, and I kind of like the way they look right now.
Okay, I want to ask you a question about this team. I want to ask you, what do you think Tyler Fitzgerald is going to be this year? What do you think he's going to do this year?
I mean, there's obviously a lot of like eyes on him, right? This is a guy that they want to see improve, and I mean, if he can go out and just play like solid second base, 15, 20 homers, like go ahead, man. Like that's solid. Like just go out and be solid. I think this is a good comparison. I think Tyler Fitzgerald's kind of in that same mindset that we had for Anthony Volpe. I remember when Anthony Volpe was there, all the eyes were on him, and the Yankees were kind of one of those in-the-middle teams like the Giants, and we're like, if this kid can go out and ball out, and there was a lot of pressure on him, and Volpe struggled really early on. But I think Tyler Fitzgerald just understands, like, let me play my game. Let me do what I've done in the minor leagues for the last couple years, man. Just put together a solid year and don't be a liability, and the improvements will come with time.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if Volpe's put up a 280 batting average with a 132 WRC plus, hitting 15 bombs in 96 games. That's a good year. He had 3 WAR last year. I know it's going to go down a little bit because he's playing second base, not shortstop. So like the defensive metrics, like importance will be a little different. But still, like he had a pretty solid year last year. I know a lot of it was becoming from like short stretches of him being really hot, and he had like really cold stretches. But not having to worry about playing short, you can go hang on a second, and you don't gotta be the main focal point of this offense. You could just be in the 6-7 hole and just do what you need to do. I think he's gonna have a good year, and I'm a Tyler Fitzgerald believer this year. I really hope he pops off this year. I really hope he helps his team.
Yeah, and I think Tyler Fitzgerald, he has a lot of upside. What he did in that short amount of time, it obviously, like we know, like it's very hard to sustain what he did because he was red hot at certain times. But just go out. Fly under the radar almost. Just do your thing. Like the Giants lineup, the focal points are going to be Adames, it's going to be Chapman, and it's going to be Elliot Ramos. Like I think those are kind of the three guys that they're relying on this year. And a guy like, another guy we didn't even talk about is they have like the best framer in the league. They have one of the best defensive catchers in the league, Patrick Bailey. Like the way he's going to be able to command that pitching staff, like that's going to be fun. I think the Giants have such a fun team this year, Luke. They're going to be interesting, man.
I think they'd be fun especially because like I'm talking about like playing into your park, dude. Having the best framing catcher, dude. You know what his WAR last year was? It was where? What? Oh my god, I don't have it on me. I have it on me. It's right in front of me. Wait.
And when Luke gets that number, I want everyone to keep in mind that he didn't really hit.
Last year, he had a 4.3 WAR, hitting an 81 WRC plus.
Literally, he didn't hit, and he still had a 4 WAR. Like that's insane.
He's straight up the best defensive catcher in baseball, and that lifts the pitching staff up so much, especially one that has such young guys going into it that I think could be a big impact this year. Like I forget his first name, but Birdsong. I project that he's going to.
Oh right, there's a lot of eyes on him.
Bryce Eldridge possibly too, and then also just coming off like this year, like Logan Webb, dog. He's an ace.
And going back to playing into their park, Logan Webb, best ground ball guy in the sport.
Best ground ball guy. Robbie Ray, I mean, former Mariner. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's a good number 2, and hopefully he comes back well off of that injury. Jordan Hicks, he had a pretty decent year last year. It'll be interesting to see what he can do again this year. Verlander, I don't know what to do with Verlander. I don't know.
Are you out on Verlander?
Dude, he's old. He was not good last year. He was the Astros didn't put him on their playoff roster.
I mean, the way I see it with Verlander, this guy's a competitor, and this guy is a first ballot future Hall of Famer, and I think that he's gonna go, and I think he'll be fine. Like he'll be, especially at that park. Like it's such a big park. Like I think
to be young. I mean,
I think it'll be okay. If Verlander could go out and have like a sub-4 ERA, that's fine.
I think he's gonna have like a low 4, like a 4.1, 4.2. I mean, dude. I mean, like he got shelled last year from his fastball, so I mean, playing that park will help. But he's 42. I'm telling you, with the Astros depleted pitching staff last year, he got left off the playoff roster.
Yeah, I mean that is crazy to think about.
And he's
the fact that he's pitched so many big games for Houston, for them to do that, like it obviously said something.
What is he, like the Astros best pitcher of all time, probably, right? I mean, you
could argue that. You could
argue that, like, and he's got left off the playoff roster. I mean, and he's still on a major league team this year, so it's not like he's like completely washed. I mean, I still think he's washed, but like
I think he's got a little bit in the tank, and I think when you surround him in a rotation. Like, I kind of like their rotation too, bro. Like, the way I'm looking at the Giants right now is I think their offense has some highlights, and I think that their pitching staff has some highlights. If those in-between guys, like the Tyler Fitzgeralds, like the Patrick Baileys, if he steps it up offensively, go into the pitching side, if Verlander and Birdsong and Hicks can kind of do what he did last year. Hicks was pretty decent in his first year as a starter. Like, if Robbie Ray and Logan Webb are solidifying your 1-2 punch and the rest of the guys just do okay, like, we could be looking at a 90-win team. I think that we could be looking at a 88 to 90 win team.
I'm high on them, but not 90.
You don't think so? You don't think there's any hope for that? You don't think they could win like 88 to 90 games?
I think they're a good 85, 86 win team.
See, but like that's not like a crazy jump either, though. It's like give or take 4 or 5 games.
85 is like a game out of the wild card. 90 games is you're winning and what you're getting in a wild card spot.
I think that they could be. I think they can make the wild card this year. With this roster, I think they can make the wild card.
I don't know, but I say this, but also I'm about to go tell you how I'm excited for, and then I believe in Camilo Duvall this year as well. I think he's gonna step up again.
Their bullpen. I feel like we haven't even touched bullpen.
He got optioned last year, the AAA. That's how bad he was.
They have a lot of bodies in there, like a lot of funk. There's a lot. Like look at the names in their rotation or in their bullpen. They got Tyler Rogers, obviously, guys throwing from the damn floor. And then they got Tristan Beck. He throws really funky. Ryan Walker throws really funky. They got a 6'8" reliever. Like, there's a lot of funk in that bullpen. Like, there's a lot of like weirdness going on.
Yeah, and I also like Ryan Walker had a really good year last year, and I think he's gonna continue it this year as well. Like, I think he had a 1.91 ERA last year. The 1.7 WAR. 1.7 WAR as a reliever is nuts. Especially when he pitched 80 innings. Like he was a workhorse for them last year, and he's gonna get the full-time closing role at the beginning of the year. So Duvall doesn't have to be some guy that's gonna be like he has to be their closer. He could be the 7th, 8th inning guy and just dominate. Right. And I keep hyping them up, and then you're like doing it too much. You're like,
dude, no, I think they could win 88 to 90 wins, bro. They won 80 last year, and look how much better they got.
Yeah, but they also did.
All the injuries.
We also didn't point out their subtractions. They lost Blake Snell. They lost Michael Conforto. True. They lost Taylor Rogers, and they lost Mark Canha. They lost some firepower to that team. Dude, Blake Snell dominated that second half for them last year. He was a dog. He was insane for them at the end of the year.
Can I be optimistic, man? God.
No, I'm optimistic too, but you're jumping the gun.
I think they could win 88 wins, bro. You get 88 wins. I'm saying best case though. I'm saying everyone stays healthy and all those in between guys have like really good years. I think they could get 88.
Okay, do you remember when I was talking to you about how we should do bets on the season, just you and me?
Ooh,
This was
write
fun.
that down. San Francisco
Okay,
Giant bet.
This is one of them. I think the line should be 87.5. Do you want to do 87.5 wins?
87.5. I think that's fair. I'm gonna say over. I believe in them.
87. Okay, I'm gonna put in my notes. Miguel and Luke bets for this year. Miguel and Luke.
We're revisiting these.
First one, 87.5 wins.
Book it.
Giants. Wins. Over for Miguel. Under for me. Under for Tito Miggy. Over.
All right, bro.
Under.
All right. So I think we kind of got from San Fran is there's hope for them to put together a really good year, and they've done the right things to try to compete. And we kind of don't hate them this year. Like, we're like, they're the definition of middle of the pack right now. But at the end of the day, it just takes that one little 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7 at the very end of the year to make the playoffs. Like, really, that's really what it is. So I'm rooting for them. Actually, I'm not rooting for them. I'm a Dodger fan. I actually pray on their downfall. After talking about the San Francisco Giants, we're going to be moving on to our third team, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Luke, I think before we can really get into them, I think we kind of understand our feeling towards them. We're excited. There's a lot to be excited about in the desert. What do you have on them, Luke? What do you have on them? Like, is there anything that specific you want to discuss about them?
I think they are. This is. I don't know if this is even anything crazy. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs last year, so I don't feel bad about it. This is my dark horse team going into this year as being like a top 3 team in baseball. I think they have a chance to be one of the best teams in baseball. We skipped it for the Giants, but I want to talk about the team stats for the Diamondbacks last year. For hitting, second in average, first in on base, second in OPS, first in runs, 15 in home runs, 15 in stolen bases. This was a top 2 offense last year. Only second or first. I don't know if you want to do whatever you want to do for the Dodgers. They were the 2 top offense last year, and they didn't make the playoffs. So
crazy.
And they fixed a lot of I want to go over their additions this year. Corbin Burns, okay, bona fide top 5 pitcher in the game.
You got the best pitcher on the market in free agency,
and at a discount, insane. Second, Josh Naylor. I know you lose Christian Walker, but Josh Naylor, good player.
Not a bad replacement.
Not a bad deal. Randall Grichuk had a really good bounce back year for them. Did really well in the platoon role for them for the outfield. I'm excited to see if he can continue it again. And then Kendall Graveman on a 1-year deal. He's a good bullpen addition. They have a pretty good bullpen, so it's a good addition. But this is where it sucks for them. There's subtractions. You lose Christian Walker, one of the top first basemen in the game. Jock Peterson, he found his bat last year, hitting righties last year. He's one of the best right hitting players in the game right now. Kevin Newman, he's just a depth piece. I think they're fine without him. Josh Bell, whatever. Paul Sewald, he hit a great first half. The second half, he just kind of fell off the wagon, and then I can't even say this dude's name, but he was traded for the Josh Naylor. He wasn't going to be one of their 5 pitchers. So
right.
Honestly, for this offseason, they lose a little bit of offense, but being a top 2 offense in the league, you can lose a little bit of that. And then with gaining such good, like, their pitching, like I want to go through their 5 projected starters: Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Pfaadt. That first 3 right there is one of the best first 3 in baseball, and that first 3 can win you a World Series.
And then you look at their 4 and 5, like you're looking at that, you're fine with that being your number 4 and your number 5. Like, it's a really deep rotation, 1 through 5. Like Luke said, they were pretty much the number 1. I'm gonna say it, they were. They were the number 1 offense in baseball last year. Their offense, insanely high octane, and they put that balance of speedsters surrounded by boppers, like guys that just mash. And I think that they're kind of running back that same philosophy in their lineup this year. I know they lost a lot of guys. They lost Jock. Jock was a big part of their team. Christian Walker was pretty much a staple of their team for years. That guy's been there for forever. But bringing in Josh Naylor, keeping Randall Grichuk, like you keep everyone in town, and then now you're putting the faith in some of your younger guys. Like, we need Jake McCarthy to step up. Is Alec Thomas going to go back to 2023 form? Like, these are guys that you're okay with running out there every single day because they've shown it before, and now we're just waiting for them to put it all together once again. And like Luke said, their rotation was absolutely demolished last year. Injury after injury. And now if they stay healthy, adding Corbin, Burns, and now that 4 that they already had of Erod and Fod and Gallen and Merrill Kelly, like, it looks really, really good. And people are forgetting, man. I know you always hate when I say this, but I'm going to say it. Jordan Montgomery's still there, and this is a guy that was pitching big games like not even 2 years ago. Like, what are we getting from him? I love that.
What the? Hello?
Yeah.
Did it like stop?
No, it's still recording, but you're just like.
Connection. Was it me?
Yeah.
Oh hell no! I thought it was you. Is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
I'll just go for this.
This is so chopped.
Yeah.
My bad, man.
No, you're good. Where was it? Okay, let me just go from this. And I know you hate when I say this, Luke, but Jordan Montgomery is still their 6th guy. Like, I know he's coming off one of the worst years, and it's a very bad contract, right? Mm-hmm. But he was just pitching big games not even 2 years ago. Like, this is a guy that if you have as your 6th man, like, it's not horrible. I kind of like that Jordan Montgomery stuck around in town. I know the owner said some bad stuff about him, but their lineup 1 through 9 with that rotation 1 through 6, that is a World Series contending team.
I also want to point out last year their best hitter and one of their best hitters, Corbin Carroll and Eugenio Suarez, their first halves were completely like horrible. Like, they were questioning Corbin Carroll like if his first year was fraudulent. Like, right. They were like, this is one of the worst sophomore slumps of all time. And then, dude, him and Gino had two of the best second halves in baseball offensively, and just crushed it out of the park. And I'm excited to see like a full year of them just mashing. I'm a big Gino guy. It's still messed up inside my heart that the Mariners got rid of him, man. I have Jorge Polanco going out at third base this year. I want Eugenio Suarez on my team. And then also Ketel Marte was an MVP candidate for the majority of the year before he got hurt at the very end of it. Like, dog. Josh Naylor, I think he had a great year last year. I think he's going to just continue it. He's not going to play the greatest defense at first, and going from literally the best defensive first baseman, but doesn't matter. First base is not a great. You don't got to worry about defense at first. He's going to mash, and that's all that matters. And then also, I want to point out one of their best prospects, Jordan Lawler.
I was literally about to bring him up. I just pulled up his baseball reference. I kind of wanted to ask you that now that we're
take it away.
Well, his career stuff not that good, but this is a guy he's a high end prospect. This is the best of the best. But this is kind of a point I wanted to make and kind of connect it all together. They just signed Geraldo Perdomo to a 4-year extension. What does that mean for Jordan Lawler? Do you think that he will see any time this year in the major leagues, or do you think he'll kind of be off the bench? Because they have Eugenio Suarez for 1 more year. Obviously, I think when Suarez's time is up, that's where Lawler's time to slide in. But for this year, do you see him having any impact on the Diamondbacks?
I think it really depends on the year he has. I don't think he's going to start with a major league team. It really depends like how well he hits in AAA. If he just knocks the doors off, I think he's going to have to get a promotion or like at least some time. Like also like if injuries happen again with that infield, like injuries happen in baseball if he gets an opportunity to. And then also like Perdomo can also play like a bench utility spot or whatever. Like there are ways that this can work. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think that just the main part will just be injuries because that's what. Over the full 162, you're not going to have a full healthy team. Right. So
that's true.
It'll be interesting to see. I'll just again like if he just mashes in AAA, like it's going to get to a point where like this dude's too talented not to be on the major league roster.
Right.
But it'll be one of the interesting storylines to follow for this team this year.
Yeah, I think Arizona. You guys got a lot of bright spots, man. And I kind of made the point earlier, and I want to kind of put it into perspective. This team. I love the way it's constructed offensively. Like having Carroll at the top, Marte, and that's your 1-2, and then you follow all that speed, all that athleticism with like a Josh Naylor that he drives in runs for a living. Put that on a shirt. He drives and runs for a living. Like,
for
that man is the definition of, I want to come up with runners in scoring position. And then you follow that with Suarez, that's literally built a career on hitting 30-plus home runs a year. And then you still got the Gurriels, the McCarthys hanging in the wings, like Gabriel Moreno. Like, I really, really like the way their lineup looks. I think that's one of the main reasons they were the number one offense in baseball last year. Is just their combination of speed and power. It puts a lot of stress on the pitcher because you're worried about the guy at the plate hitting a 500-foot home run, but you're also worried about Corbin Carroll stealing second and third. Like, it's really interesting to see that dynamic on this team.
And they're so much more balanced in this year. Like, they have so many, like we talked about like how many pitching issues they had this year.
Right.
Like, if they could just stay healthy this year, dude, I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the best teams in baseball, and I think they have the best chance to catch the Dodgers. I don't think they will, obviously.
And I'm excited for their bullpen, too. Like, Justin Martinez, he's a dog. He's disgusting. Like, they got names. They had one of the top-end bullpens last year, like, solid. And people forget, Luke, this team was in the World Series not even 2 years ago, man. Like, this team, that's another thing. I always talk about it. You want to almost feel battle-tested if you want a real chance of winning a World Series. The Diamondbacks are battle tested. All these guys were on a World Series team. Like, most of these guys were there. And then even some of their additions, Corbin Burns just pitched a playoff game. Josh Naylor's been in the playoffs for pretty much his whole career. Like, these guys have been in the moment. They've played the big game, and they're just waiting for their time to come and go out and win the World Series. So I'm excited for Arizona. They have a lot of upside this year.
Yeah, also want to point out Gino made the not World Series. He made the playoffs with the Mariners.
He did make the playoffs.
He killed
Seattle
it
Mariners.
Sorry, I just wanted to point out because that's the only
No,
time
man. Go ahead. You get your but
only
you
time
need
they made the playoffs in my entire life.
Listen, they're gonna do it this year, and we're gonna talk about that when we get to the AOS. All right, man. But
okay.
For right now, we're gonna be moving on to the second place team of last year, the San Diego Padres, and I think this is where the mood darkens because we went from Colorado very down, and then it picked up. San Fran, Arizona, San Diego, roller coaster downhill spiral. Luke, I don't even know where to begin with this team.
Dude, I mean, there's issues top to bottom, not even on the roster itself.
We can't even blame the people on the field. This is just a sole front office issue, man.
Dude, they were like a game or two away from beating the Dodgers, and if they beat the Dodgers, they probably win the World Series. I think they win the World Series if they make it. Like, that was pretty much the World Series. I remember
that was their window.
Dude, that was like the best playoff series. No, maybe not the best, but that was like really good playoff series to watch. And that felt like the World Series. And they put all their chips in last year. They had so many good pieces, and
they made so many good moves at the deadline too. So many good moves.
They went in, and I love when teams do that, and they just didn't get rewarded it because, of course, they play the Dodgers. But I want to just talk about the notable subtractions because this is where their offseason really is, dude. They lose Tanner Scott, they lose Jerickson Profar, they lose Ha-Sung Kim, Kyle Higashioka. Sorry, I can't. Martin Perez, Donovan Solano, Mariner. They lost a lot. They lost a lot of guys that have high impact team.
Wait, but they brought in Yuli Gurriel, Luke.
Dude,
they brought in Yuli Gurriel, 43-year-old Yuli Gurriel. All right.
Oh, also, I want to point out they also brought in former All-Star MVP Elias Diaz to be their catcher. Okay.
Why did he win an All-Star Game MVP?
Because he hit the game-winning home run.
Oh my god, that has got to be the most random thing.
And then they've been absolute horrible since. Also, I think their starting first baseman or whatever is going to be Connor Joe. He's not even the Pirates didn't keep him, man. The Pirates didn't keep him.
It's grody.
I like their front 4 or 5 of their lineup is really good. I mean, Luis Ariz, Fernando Tatis, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Cronenworth, Bogarts. But then afterwards, the 3 down and then the bench is just a dumpster fire, dude.
Right. Jason
Hayward's gonna be your starting left fielder. Elias Diaz is going to be your starting catcher. Do you know who their starting DH is? I can't say his name.
No, don't tell me it's Ornelius.
Tirso, bro.
Tirso
is going to be the starting DH. If your DH is hitting 9th.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the direction. Listen, let's give the context to the people, Luke.
Let's get the context.
Pretty much their owner, Peter, cannot pronounce his last name. Rest in peace, though. Rest his soul.
Peace.
He passed away, and this was the heart and soul of San Diego, and the heart and soul of the Padres. He wanted his goal in life was to bring a championship to San Diego, and he put all the chips forward, and he sadly passed away. And because of that, it kind of left the ownership of the team up for grabs. His brothers, his family, they've all kind of clashed for it. And because of that, they have not been able to spend any money. And if it was any other situation, if it was any other time or if Peter was still alive, their former owner, like this team had so much potential. Like they just needed to go out and make moves, and they needed to build off of it, because at the end of the day, they were one win away from knocking out the Dodgers and doing who knows what after, and probably winning a World Series, right? And it sucks to see that this is, I mean, as a non-biased fan, it really sucks to see that this is the route that they've gone, because they really haven't done anything. Their catching situation's a mess. Their left field situation's a mess. Their DH situation's a mess. Their pitching staff is a mess, because they're over here talking about trading these guys, and that might even still happen, like Dylan Cease and Michael King. Yeah. So I really don't know. Their bullpen, probably one of the only bright spots, I think I'd say. Like, I like some of the guys they still have around. They kept Suarez. They've kept Adam. They've kept Morahone. And obviously
really
Mitsui.
It's real top heavy.
Yeah. I'm trying to find something here.
Dude, it's just like it's just a sad situation to see. Like, they're all like the brothers and the wife. They're like have a lawsuit over, like, they have a lawsuit. Or I think the brothers like were trying to like sell. I don't know, but it's a lawsuit like holding like binding the team together.
Right.
It's just a sad thing. Like, baseball's better when the Padres are good.
Yeah,
like
and especially with the Dodger rivalry. I love to troll Padre fans and say it's not a rivalry. That was a rivalry, man. That was some of the, like, this has been going on for years, and that bad blood between those guys. And if the Padres don't go out and compete the way we've seen the last couple of years, like, it's gonna suck. Like, it's not gonna. Baseball's gonna be hurt by this. Just to end on some bright spots for them, I think Fernando Tatis is due for a big FU season of the league and just ball out. Like, I think I was kind of similar. Tatis dealt with the injuries and the steroids and a lot of things going on, right? And then the year after, he wasn't really himself. I expect him to have a big year the way Acuna did after his first ACL injury. Acuna, the year he came back, struggled, wasn't really himself. Then he won the MVP. I think we could see something similar like that for Fernando Tatis. He's got all the tools in the world, and obviously you still got nice all-star-esque names in your rotation in Dylan Cease, Michael King, as long as you don't trade him. Yu Darvish. They brought in Nick Pivetta. That was a very random signing. I mean, that's not a bad guy to have around. People have been saying I saw something that they always troll Nick Pivetta about. They say that Nick Pivetta has been ready to have a breakout year for the last 5 years. So maybe this is the year he does it.
Yeah, but he's like a 4 in the rotation, and that's not a bad 4. It's not a bad 4.
Not a bad 4.
So.
And I can't even forget Jackson Merrill. Like, that guy is a genuine stud. Jackson Merrill is a really good baseball player.
That was his first year playing center, by the way. First year playing center.
He's only going to get better defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Machado, I mean, you still got your captain pretty much around. Bogarts, we'll see what he delivers. Like, their lineup is pretty top heavy. Their rotation is probably
their whole team is top heavy.
Their whole team is top heavy. Good point.
But there's no middle. There's no depth or middle. There are just a few key injuries, like, and their team is just done. I'm really hoping that Tatis has like a breakout year and like puts the team on his back and they like all rally together. But I also could really see it like an injury. Someone goes down at the All-Star break, they're horrible, and they trade Dylan Cease and Michael King away, and that team's just a dumpster fire. It sucks. It sucks.
I'm trying to find the way that this team could probably be pretty good compared to last year, but I don't see the scenario where they're not trading most of these guys at the deadline, man. I really don't see a scenario.
No, I agree. Like, any guy that's like Arise.
I think the best case scenario is they just have like a really on fire first half and they got to push the hand, like, somehow.
That's what they're hoping for. That's what they're hoping for. But I just like there's a difference between hoping and like what's really gonna happen. Yeah. And what's really gonna happen is they're gonna have like a good few weeks and then I think the bottom's gonna fall out.
I think so too. But do you think this team could be a playoff team still?
No, I don't think they're making the playoffs. I don't think. I know we're gonna do division predictions.
Yeah.
Division predictions at the end.
We'll save it for there. You're right.
We'll save it, but it's not gonna be well. I think.
All right, man. We've made it to the final team.
Do we even need to say anything?
The whole world knows what team I'm talking about, and I've been waiting all episode for this one. Number 1, your 2024 8-time World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. No bias whatsoever in my introduction. Luke, I'm very excited to talk about this. I'm very excited.
Dude, I'm excited to watch this team, man. It's like an all-star team. It's an all-star team.
It's going to be amazing. I mean, they go out, they bring in Blake Snell, they bring in Roki Sasaki, they re-sign Teoscar Hernandez, they bring in Tanner Scott, they re-sign Clayton Kershaw, they bring in Hyun-Sung Kim, they bring in Kirby Yates, they bring in Michael Conforto, they bring in Blake Treinen, they re-sign Kike, and pretty much their big losses were Walker Buehler, Jack Flaherty, and Gavin Lux. They had probably the most chaotic offseason a team can have. They made so many moves.
I mean, any other team, you see those 3 losses, you're like, oh, dude, what happened to their offseason? And then you just... I had to scroll my mouse multiple times just so I could see the full notable acquisitions. Like, that is ridiculous. And I just... Oh, God, that lineup is already insane as it is. And now they have this top 3, top 2... rotation, 100% the best bullpen in baseball. Like, God, I hate it. It's disgusting. Like, it's what can
really
you do?
Good. It's really good. And kind of contradicting the point we made about the Padres in terms of them not having depth, the opposite is for Los Angeles, man. Ridiculous. The Dodgers can literally just like throw out starting pitchers to other teams, and to the Dodgers, they're like a depth piece, and to some of these other teams, they're their number 3 or 4. Like, that's just like the spot that they're in. Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Bobby Miller, Landon Knack, like, these are guys that aren't even really set to make the damn roster. Like, I don't know. The Dodgers, they have a lot of injuries problems kind of going on right now, and I think that's going to open up a lot of space. That's my only worry about this team, Luke. That they're going to get to a point in the year where they're just all healthy and they get lucky or something and no one's really hurt and they have to make choices. Then they're like, sorry, Dustin May, you have some of the best stuff in the league, but we're not picking you over Blake Snell and all these other guys, so you're going to go to the minor leagues. Like, that might happen. There might be a scenario where that happens, and I think I always would say there's not such thing as too much depth, but this feels like really excessive. It does feel excessive.
It's just ridiculous, man. I don't even know what to say. Like, that's your problem, is that we have too much talent on the
That's like my only worry about this team.
Man, I have too much talent on my 26-man roster. What am I gonna do? Like, dude, like,
the Dodgers are gonna have to make some cuts. Like, we have to kind of bring that point up. Like, they have like 5-6 guys to fill up only 4 bench spots. Like, there's gonna be some tough cuts for sure.
And I just and looking through the options this team has, like, no one on this team has options at all. Like, it's this team is set, and there's only 2 or 3 guys in this team, which is nuts. That can be switched. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that bullpen is just that's like the worst part. Is like, with this lineup last year, again, insane lineup. They were still able to like battle it out with teams, and even with their pitching issues. But it's that bullpen, dude. They won every 3rd game for them in the playoffs, and they only got better, man. I mean, yeah. Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, Blake Treinen, Michael Kopech. That's your top 4.
Brusdar Graterol wasn't even named. Like, Alex Vezina just had an under 2 ERA year. Like
it's ridiculous. Like, I don't. It's just like, it's just only word I could say is ridiculous. Like,
and to think though that they did it with, like you said, every 3rd game in the playoffs they were winning. Now they have a real rotation, like, not a disgusting, like, a beat up, broken down Walker Buehler. You're our number 2 after having a 6 ERA season rotation. Like, this is a real, like, top 1. They're gonna run a 6-man with Shohei's back. That's pretty much been the confirmation. Like, we're looking at Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, Shohei Ohtani.
I got a question for you. What do you think Roki Sasaki is going to be this year? What do you expect from this year?
Well, I honestly thought with us having so much control over him and him kind of not being seasoned, the way they make it seem like Rockies kind of dealing with injury, and there's certain his velo's down. There's probably some things to work on with Roki, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought that meant he'll probably start the year in the minors and build up to the major leagues. But it seems like they're gonna have him start in the major leagues right away. Like that's kind of the consensus that around the Dodgers organization right now. Mm-hmm. But can I see a situation where this is a guy that maybe he just gets burned out, or he's not binding and he gets sent down? I definitely could, because like I said, the Dodgers have so many options, and some of these guys are going to be waiting for their opportunity, that any slight hiccup with Roki, that might be their chance to be like, hey, we'll give this guy a chance. But best case scenario, Roki Sasaki wins the damn freaking Rookie of the Year, and like he's really good. So like
Did you see the video of him at spring training against Kyle Teal?
Oh, he got rocked, right?
He got rocked. I honestly, like, there's nothing against this guy. I wish him nothing but the best, but, like, I mean, I understand him signing with the Dodgers. We've talked about it in a previous episode where, like, I don't blame him for going to the team, but, like, I would love it if he gets shelled all year. just as a hater, just, like, me hating on the Dodgers, like, I hope he gets shelled.
All right, I want to ask this question before we get to our predictions. Can the Dodgers break the all-time win record?
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm a Mariners fan, so I say no. I say no. That record will never be broken. By the way, that team that won it in 2001, they didn't make the World Series. That's ridiculous. By the way, they lost in the playoffs, like the Yankees, or whatever. And they didn't make the playoffs again the next year, which is nuts. How do you win 100?
Crazy. How do you go from 116 wins to not making the playoffs?
Not make the playoffs till 2022. It was 2023. Like. What the okay? Your question: do I think they could break it? I think they could break it. Will they break it? I don't think so. But this is the team, if all teams, to do it. Like, they could win. They could win 90 games with their offense alone. They could win 90 games with their pitching alone. Put together, like if they have a fully healthy year, like a mostly fully healthy year, like that record, I don't. Dude,
they hit so good. Their bullpen stacked, their rotation stacked, and if they get injured, they have depth for days. Like, this is a perfectly constructed roster, man.
They can win 110 games.
Yeah. I mean, they won 111 in 2019. Compare the 2019 roster to... excuse me. I think I meant 2022. They won 111 or something like that. Compare that roster to this roster. This roster is way better. But I also think, to answer my own question, I think I kind of have a better grip on it. I've seen Dave Roberts. And I said this in my Ravine Rundown podcast. I've seen Dave Roberts literally punt playoff games, Luke. I definitely think there's going to be points throughout the year where we're really not putting all our best guys in. We're giving guys off days, and we're going to lose games. And to win 120 games, 116, 117 games, you got to be perfect all year. I don't think the Dodgers are going to strive for that at all. And I think they're just going to be content with making the playoffs. Like, at the end of the day, the Dodgers are content with winning the division, getting that first round bye, and worrying about the playoffs. I don't think the win record is on their mind at all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, prediction time. This is the best part. So I think the best way to do this is we'll kind of go from top to bottom. I'll say my 5, you say your 5, and we'll just go to the top from there.
All right,
Lucas.
You go first, Miguel.
Let's do it. I think we can honestly skip 5 because we all know our team, the Colorado Rockies.
The Rockies.
Yeah, like I think I said something earlier in the pod where I'm like, hey, just try not to lose 100 games this year. I meant that. Try not to lose 100 games. Mm-hmm. Number 4 though, it might get a little weird here.
Number 4, I think we're the same.
Now that makes me think that we're not the same.
San Diego Padres.
I have the San Diego Padres too. Okay.
Padres. Well,
all right.
I assumed based off your insane response to the Giants win.
I like the Giants over the Padres this year, man. I like them.
No, yeah, me too. But I think you're whatever.
I'm too high.
Okay. You're too high. I think we're the same division. Number 3, the Giants.
The Dodgers. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Number 3,
San Francisco Giants.
Number 2, Arizona Diamondbacks. Number 1,
Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay, that wasn't even fun because we had the same thing. But I want to throw some questions in based off that. How many of those teams do you think makes the playoffs? Ooh, that's a big question.
I was thinking that once we do all the NL, then we can do playoff predictions.
Okay. That'll make it fun. That'll make it fun to build up.
Because then it's like a whole build up. But I think this is the division that could have 3 three playoff teams.
So if you say that, then that means you think the Giants can make it, Luke.
I think they have a chance. They have a chance. But also, like, you have to immediately include 2 teams from the West, 2 from the East.
Right.
Like, well, 3 teams from the East because
the East is going to be
Phillies.
A war zone too.
Yeah, so it's basically that last playoff spot, and dude, it's gonna be.
I mean, it's gonna be like a dogfight between the Giants, maybe even the Padres if they get hot, the Cubbies. Like, it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be whatever team is the most healthy.
Yeah.
And on the best roll. I mean, that's kind of how baseball always is. Not like I'm saying something brand new and random. Like, guys, the team that's healthy and on a hot streak at the end of the year is gonna make the playoffs. Like, it's. But I think the NL, dude, the NL team is so much better than the West and the AL.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's gonna be weird doing the AL and we're talking about the AL Central or something, and we're like, oh yeah, White Sox, how you guys doing?
White Sox, dude, they're major acquisitions, Like,
oh, no one. Oh,
no.
Wait, did they sign Martin Maldonado or was that someone else? Someone else signed the
No, that
GOAT.
was somebody else. Who signed Martin Maldonado? I forgot. Wasn't like the.
Someone signed the GOAT. We're gonna find.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Who signed?
This is big ending, big finish right here.
Martin Mal. Wait, guess.
Damn, dude, someone just did it. Angels, didn't the Angels do it?
No, you were right. It was the White Sox. I don't know why.
Oh, you bamboozled me.
I bamboozled because I forgot. I was thinking Houston, but I mixed it up. He was.
That's such
Houston.
a White Sox signing. Just signed like one of the worst hitters in baseball.
Imagine that he's their opening day catcher. I mean, I don't think. I think it'll be Kyle Teal, but like.
Yeah, just get the young guys some run. But hey, Luke, we did it. Episode 1 of 6 of breaking down every division. Let's see how long we can go of picking the same prediction. Like, we went 1 for 1 so far.
I mean, you and me always kind of think the same. We're always locked in together.
You know what's so weird though? I feel like we have such different opinions on things, but then at the end of the day, like when it comes to like predicting stuff, it's always the same. Like, it's kind of weird to think about. But we did it. Episode 1. Look out for the next division we're gonna be doing. Honestly, it'll be an NL team, but we'll see, or an NL division, but we'll see who it is. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for dropping by. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you guys.
Yes, sir.